Raff and Raff rants. I'm Raff.
And I'm Raff. We're Raff.
Raff Farispo of the Far From Vesuvius podcast. That's Ralph Pizarro of Calcio Napoli Club. Just rant about Napoli.
Let's go for it.
We're going to rant. We're going to match report. We're going to talk about the games. We're going to talk about topics. You leave comments and we'll read your comments out. Question.
All right. Quick stats.
Yes. Throw the stats up there. On to a nice little segment that we're going to call the Beast of the Match.
Who is beasting it for the Napoli team? Let's see.
Follow us on Facebook, Raffaele Rispo, Ralph Pizarro, Twitter at RaffaNapoli83, that's me.
CNC USA 26.
I want some feedback to the show. What do you guys want to see? What do you want to see more or less of? This is going to be a show for you guys too. I want a lot of comments.
We want to rant about something. Let us know if you want us to rant about something.
I promise you we're not going to agree on everything all the time.
We won't.
We're going to yell at each other every now and then.
Come and rant. This is what it's for. We want to give you a space to let loose so you can do it here.
Well, that's going to do it, Ralph. You know, were we boring enough for you?
I don't know. I think we were great.
Let's get to it.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Raff and Raff Rant. I am Ralph Pizarro, joined with Rafa Rispo and our special guest tonight, Dom from Napoli Talk. Welcome, Dom. How are we doing today?
Hey, guys. It's an honor to be here. Doing great. Obviously, we lost on the weekend, but excited to be here, guys, and talk about it.
Yeah, all good. And there is a lot to talk about. How we doing today, Rafa? Good to see you back. Nice hair.
We're doing good. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it.
You look great.
We're doing good, notwithstanding the result yesterday. But hey, listen, it's the fast season. Season games come quick. We got to move on.
Quick.
Can't dwell on this loss. Just let's move. That's it.
No, let's just move on.
On
quite
to
the
Spezia.
January. On to Spezia again. But quite the January that we were having, guys. Again, we suffer this loss. The whole Napoli fandom ship has gone bonkers. So much in the media today, or rather these past couple days, with Gattuso in or out, the players in or out, Insignia, the this, the that. So I think, we're here today to kind of help kind of go through all this craziness, all this heat, and maybe try to bring a little bit of sense to all of it, and maybe we can figure it all out. I know there's been lots and lots of talk regarding positioning. Okay, so we're going to start there today, boys and girls. So if you're in the chat, I'm sorry. I want to say everybody in the chat got Christopher Estrada. Hello, Raff and Ra. Hello there, Christopher. Miguela, good to see you again. Once again, always a good fan of the show. But if you're up there, get in the chat, guys. All right, pick our brains, ask us questions, get in on the conversation. You want to talk to Dom, you want to talk to Raff, you want to ask him something, that's what it's there for. Don't be shy, okay? We want to get you in on the action. But as far as the action goes, lots of talk. We're going to get into Gattuso, but there's been so much talk about the general tactics, the lineups, the positioning of some of these players. And I think the big one, because we know what's going on up front. Ozyhem out, Mertens out. I know they came back recently, but I feel like there's been this gap, this bit of a struggle in the midfield. And I was thinking about it a whole lot, and I was like, we got to get into this. I got Dom's here, perfect guy to kind of pick the brain with. So we're calling this segment In the Middle of It, because we need to get we're in the middle, but we got to get down to the bottom of it and figure out what is going on with this midfield. So, Dom, you know what? Since you're new here, I'm going to let you take it away. Now, on the surface, if you can just say one quick thing about this midfield, maybe a word or a sentence. What is it?
Lackluster.
Good word.
Lack of intensity, if I can say 3 words.
Okay. Now, is it because, do you feel like, I feel like some of these guys shouldn't be playing where they're playing sometimes?
Listen, let's take a step back to the start of the season, okay? Because let's look at the first 3 games Napoli had. Napoli-Parma, Napoli-Genoa, Napoli-Atalanta. 3 wins out of 3. The midfield was working.
Okay.
It was working, and we had the same guys we have now. We have Bakayoko, Fabian. Zielinski played in the middle with Fabian in the first game. The midfield worked. Now, okay, these are not the best teams in the world, but it was working. Where did it stop working? when the Europa League started, and we started playing every 3 days. So for me personally, I don't think we have bad midfielders. Are, are you guys crazy to think that Fabian is a bad midfielder? That Bakayoko is a bad midfielder? That Zielinski is a bad midfielder? That all these guys are no. They lack, I think, the fitness to play every 3 games. We had problems with coronavirus, with Zielinski and Elmas being out.
Right.
We had Demme out for a
Yes.
long time. You've got
Yes.
Bakayoko that has played almost every single game.
Right.
He's not someone that can recover so quickly after games. He went 7 months without playing before coming to Napoli. Guys, there's a lot that is wrong physically with these players. And so I think we're a bit short on guys. I think, we have
Definitely.
players that could maybe play midfield, maybe a bit more Elmas in there. Maybe Zielinski can drop back a bit sometimes when Mertens is fit, because I think Fabian and Bakayoko there need a bit more support than just them. Let's not talk about Lobotka, because I think he's quite bad. But apart from that, I think these are good players that just need a bit of, rest every once in a while.
Rafa, you got a response to that? I mean, like, how do you see it?
I agree. I agree that we have to play every few days now, and we talked about it ad nauseum, Ralph, that we, if we're going to go the distance, we're playing every 3 to 4 days.
Right.
Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday from now to the end of the season. And, I don't want to use dropping out of a tournament as an excuse to get back to, playing our style of football. But if that's what's going to have to happen, then so be it. But you don't want to see Napoli out of a tournament. That's why I always stress that you can't just pick and choose the tournaments that you're in. You're in every tournament to win it. And Napoli needs to be. Napoli is at the point in time in this run that they've got to be in every single tournament as far as they possibly can. And if that means a semifinal run to the Europa League, then fine. If that means fighting for 4th place with teams like Lazio and Atalanta, then fine. A Scudetto is never going to happen. Not in this season. It's not happening. I've said it from the beginning. I might have joked about Scudetto match 4 against Atalanta, but let's be realistic. The goal is to get back to the Champions League. The midfield that we have, I think the whole team is as deep as it has ever been in the ADL era. And that includes the midfield. Now, Lobotka is not a great midfielder, no. But Deme could play more, where Zielinski drops back. Maybe we can put Elmas in that number 10. We have the options to move around. And at this point, where I've always tried to praise and stick up for Gattuso, I'm starting to become a little more like inquisitive of him and question his not necessarily his tactics, but his choices, Like Dom said, Bakayoko plays every minute, just like Di Lorenzo plays every single minute. How come we're not using Husai on the right there? Well, he's a right back. He played right back for us for how long, So people saying that we don't have options in the right, just Malqui who's out the door. No, we have Husai that can play there. Right? Why can't Husai play there and Gulam play on the other side? Let's give Di Lorenzo a break. Well, you know what I mean? And I get everybody in the league has to play midweek games, and everybody's fatigued, and everybody's COVID, and everybody's got the same situations. But obviously something's wrong in that midfield. Something is wrong. And it could be that we just need one more to help stabilize the piece.
Like Sakanye, the guy who just the guy who smacked us around a little bit against Verona.
I mean, for this season as well. Now with days left in the Mercato, I should probably be looking for someone.
Well, Rafa, I'm glad you bring that up. And Dom, I'm going to bring that question to you in a moment. But it's something that you both of you guys said. Yes, Bakayoko playing a crap ton of games. All right, the guy. I mean, nobody can keep up that intensity. We speak about this all the time. But we've been seeing him being paired up with Deme lately. And we may have seen it a couple times in the past, in the beginning of the season, definitely in Europa League. And we always seem to do well when those two are paired together. Now, we're gonna get into. I got one surprise for Fabian. I'm not gonna get into it quite yet, actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw it out there because I promised everybody I was gonna change my tune, And Rafa, you helped me do this a little while ago. And it's for Fabian Ruiz, because I feel like this is the guy right now that is just like, everybody's just like, all right, I'm done with him too. Even though we loved him and he was an $80 million player and he was so awesome and we should never get rid of it. It just seems like the fickle nature of the Napolitani here have now kind of wanted to discard this man. And to me, I don't think he plays. Now, we're in a 4-2-3-1, all right? So we have to keep that in mind. This is Gattuso's formation. This is what he wants to play. I don't feel like Fabian. So let's start with Fabian. I don't feel like Fabian Ruiz is in the right position. I think this guy needs to be closer to goal. We saw it when he played in Spain, and he succeeded. I saw it in Betis where he was just close. I watched the highlights today, and I'm just like, where's that Fabian? I want that one. And I think where he is now back there, I think he's rotting away, and I don't think he's playing to his potential nor to his strengths. He got that bomb left leg. Dom, are you with me here? Maybe you're with yay, nay?
It doesn't help as well that Osimhen was out, because if you've got Fabian at the back and you've got Osimhen that can run behind defenses, at least you could try to use his long passing. At least he could rack up some assists. But for him to play vertical with Petagna up top, that's tough on him. That's a tough ask on him. So maybe with Osimhen coming back, even in the 4-2-3-1, Fabian could do something. However, that's not his position. He needs to be, as you said, closer to goal. He needs to be on the edge of the box, getting the ball there and shooting from that position, doing that final pass. Because let's be honest, guys, he can get to the box from where he is, right? The problem is then tracking back if we don't score a goal.
Nah, right.
That's the problem, and that's the spaces that we leave behind, because he can't support both ways for 90 minutes, especially with, as we said, 3 games a week, basically, every 3 days. So there's definitely a problem with his position there. So, I mean, what's the solution, guys? Would you see him as a number 10 at that point?
Yes.
If we need to stay in the 4-2-3-1, or do we change formation for Fabian? But if we change formation for Fabian, that means Osimhen is not in the 4-2-3-1 anymore. We lose that number 10. We lose, the 4 strikers up front. So at the end of the day, it's a compromise. Do we sacrifice Fabian? Do we sacrifice Osimhen? What do we do? But
I know my answer, Rafa. I'm gonna let you respond there. You take it away for me.
Well, you can't compromise Osimhen. So if moving Fabian to the number 10 spot will compromise that position, then the answer is no, obviously not. I was the biggest Fabian supporter myself, but I'm of the opinion that summertime he's out of here. We cash in.
Until he met me. Rafa met me, and then.
Well, yes. And now we're changing roles.
It changed, right. Rafa and I changed
here.
Yeah.
But I do think at Napoli he's played in the wrong position, and if we could have seen him in a number 10 role, then I'd rather have that. I mean, the good thing about it is that Zielinski could play just as good as he plays in a number 10 role,
right,
back behind the number 10 role.
Mm-hmm. But don't you feel like Zielinski wants to play a little bit closer to the goal, maybe towards the left side?
I mean, but you've got 3 or 4 guys that want to play closer to the goal now. You got
That's the problem, right?
As a number 10. You got Fabian, who's better at a number 10, but nobody's seen it at Napoli, and so that's why he gets the bad rap that he gets. You got Zielinski, who should be playing closer to goal because he's pretty deadly too. But at the same time, he can come back and help out too. So I don't know. I think it's worth trying to put Fabian in a number 10 10 role in a 4-2-3-1. Or do we just go back to a 4-3-3 and have Fabian and Zielinski on there with Bakayoko or Deme? Or
I think we should have gone to a 4-3-3 when Osimhen got injured, for example. Once we lose the guy that can stretch out the opposition defense, once we lose the guy that can run in behind the defense, then what's the point of the 4-2-3-1? You don't need a vertical team anymore like that. Petagna by himself in that 4-2-3-1, that one up top, he's pretty much useless. So
right, he's like lost.
He's lost. And guys, I mean, the opposition doesn't even mark him. They just let him do his thing. And then they just double up on Lozano or Insignia. They don't even worry about Petagna when he plays. So I think we should have, at that point, since we don't have our main striker anymore, at that point, okay, maybe we can't win as many games. Let's at least try not to lose as many. Let's be defensive. You see, the problem with Napoli is that we don't draw games. We either win or lose. But how many of those games that we lost, we could have drawn if it was a 4-3-3, where we were more solid at the back, covering more spaces. Because it's not like Petagna was scoring goals for fun for us. So if we're not going to score, we might as well keep it solid in midfield and at the back. So he should have gone to a 4-3-3. Now that Osimhen's back and we can outscore teams, then fair enough, play attacking football, score 7 goals a game like we did against Atalanta and Genoa, great, But if you've got Petagna up top, you're not going to outscore teams. So let's just, get the draw if we can. But we didn't do that. Instead, we tried to play more attacking, even with Petagna, and we ended up being off balance and lost the game because he couldn't score. Think about Inter. He had that chance, didn't score it. So,
true. No, I think you're right. I mean, it's like, can't we do both? You know what I mean? Like, why does a team need to limit themselves to one formation? And I'm sure we're going to talk about this when we get to the next topic about Gattuso. So if you're listening, guys, there's lots of people participating, guys. Thank you so much. Put in your thoughts and your questions. I'm going to put them up. We're going to talk about Gattuso as well. But can we do both? Why couldn't we revert to different tactics when Osimhen went down or some of our other players went down? Mm-hmm. For me, and I mean, listen, we got tons of Lobotka. Okay, maybe he's the weakest link. Okay, as far as the midfielders go, I still think he's more of a center defensive mid. Somebody who Bakayoko needs a rest. You put on Lobotka. Just let him stay in the back and help the defense. I don't want him doing that much more. All right. Mm-hmm. Whereas, and then Deme, who would be more of, and again, I'm speaking in reference to a 4-2-3-1. But for me, Fabian Ruiz doesn't belong there, but I also think he is the backup number 10 for this team. That's where I put him. That's where I place him. That's how I value at the moment Fabian Ruiz until he proves me otherwise. I want him a little bit closer. Dom, you mentioned about him sending that long ball, and you're right. He has a great long pass, and it's pretty accurate too. And I don't want to lose that. But at the same time, if he can get us a few goals with that same left leg, and he can do it outside the box, he has so many highlights where this guy's shooting outside the box. I think we need a little bit more of that.
And he was starting to do that at the end of last season. Against Lazio, he scored a great goal right outside the box. Against Inter in the Coppa Italia semi-final first leg, he scored the goal outside the box.
Right.
In the 4-3-3, playing on the right of the 3 midfielders, he had a bit more liberty to go forward because other 2 players could stay a bit more back. So that's where you kind of want Fabian in a 4-3-3. Now, again, if you play a 4-3-3, you lose out a striker. So who's that going to be? Is it going to be Lozano? Is it going to be Mertens? Is it going to be Insignia? Is it going to be Osimhen? It's difficult. But for sure, I think maybe we should have gone back, since Osimhen was injured, that's basically the guy that you lose and go back to a 4-3-3. So that's what I think we needed to do. We would have maybe not scored as many goals. We wouldn't have got the 6-0 against Fiorentina and stuff like that. But I don't think we would have lost as many games. And that's been the issue with Napoli this season. We've lost too many instead of just, okay, we're having a bad day. Let's draw this 1-1, 0-0.
So, guys, let me ask, Rafa, would you like to add in on that?
No, I mean, I think that obviously, going to a 4-3-3 would have probably helped, especially since Mertens really shines in that role, when Osimhen went down. But then soon after, Mertens went down too. So it was like, there wasn't a lot of choices and there weren't a lot of, options. And that's something that, every team is dealing with and we had to deal with too. So I think a lot of experimentation could have happened when it comes to that midfield role because of those guys going down. But at the same time, you want to stick with what's going to work. Mm-hmm. If a team's going to come back from vacation and win 4-1, you're going to think, okay, well, we're on track. We started back to where we should be. Let's stick with what works. And I feel like Gattuso is very much stick with what works, but then it doesn't work, because it's super, and this for the whole team, not just the midfield. It's super inconsistent because you have a Deme Bakayoko that played amazingly against Fiorentina,
Right.
and then against Juve and Verona, they're nowhere to be found, basically.
Can you blame fatigue, Rafa? I mean, like,
but
they played
yes,
3 games in a row. The same.
Yes, but everyone's fatigued, Ralph. So for me, it's a mental
Right.
fatigue.
It's a
mental fatigue, and it's not just a physical fatigue. A physical fatigue. It's a mental fatigue. These players have been mentally unstable for the last 3 seasons since we lost that title with Sarri. And I hate to keep bringing it up, but it's the truth. It's the truth. We had a great season under Ancelotti when it came to Serie A because we finished in second by a wide margin. But and we did well in the Champions League and missed out by one point. But we missed out by 1 point, and then we falter in the Europa League, and then we falter in the Coppa, and then we were so far ahead of everybody in second place that no one could catch us, even if we played subpar. Then the next season comes in, we're favorites to win the Scudetto. Everyone's saying we're going to win the Scudetto. We're going to win the Scudetto. And it just something turns off. And it's always at the same time. It's always in
December,
the same patterns.
January.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Now, and I know I'm a little veering off and maybe spilling into the next segment, but
we can get
blame for that? Who's to blame for that?
Well, you know what? Let's just segue right in. Go ahead.
No, wait, hold on.
No, I'm just saying. Don't you think that you brought up a good point? We hit the high with Sarri, and then Ancelotti, his first 6 months, he built on that, and then we've kind of been declining since then.
Yes, because he played more of Sarri's system in the first 6 months to get the team acclimated. He put it together. Really, you could see it on the field.
So do you think those players are finished? The players that we still had from Sarri?
I don't
think they've reached the top and now they're deflating.
Because we can win 6-0, Dom. We could win 6-0. We can win 4-0. We won 6-0 twice this season.
Because the quality is there.
The quality is there.
The technical quality is there. But I'm talking about their mental strength of 38 games. They're done in terms of they can't take it mentally anymore for 38 games. They can show up for that one game.
For sure. I'm tired of doing this,
but for the 38 games, I think they gave it everything that season, and they're mentally done players.
Checked out.
Well, I mean, a few people have, we got a couple opinions out in the chat. Lots of people want to do the 4-3-3. Lots of people feel like, change some leadership in the office. The corner kicks. Always a question. I mean, the corner kicks for this team is god awful. I can't take it anymore. But I think
we should have Fabian taking our corner kicks.
Yeah, if you let why not though? He has a great little kick there. Let him take the corners. Why not? I'm saying switch it up, bro. Like these guys, like Rui. I'm done with him doing these things. I'm done with him crossing. He's just too much. I don't want to get into another subject, but the point is, guys, that, I mean, you're right. I mean, that's an interesting question, and I want to bring that out to the chat. Are the players from that Saudi era, are we dwindling down a little bit? Is it time for a revamp, maybe some new fresh blood? I mean, he's all right. Mertens a little bit older, but Insignia's in his prime. I'm not trying to lose him right now. You know what I mean? And who else is there besides some of the defensemen? I mean, I know K2, Zielinski. Who else from the Saudi era? There's
Hussein Ghulam doesn't play.
Hussein Ghulam, but Ghulam's barely getting played. So I mean, I'm sure he has. What's.
But we're talking about the leaders here. We're talking about these are the people that are leading the others. You're talking Insigne, Mertens, Koulibaly, Hizai, Ghulam. They are the 5 players that are in charge of the dressing room. If they let go, the whole team lets go.
Right.
So if there's a period where they need a break, they need a rest, they're done mentally, the whole team's going to follow that. So It's about replacing the leaders of this. It's not about replacing players just because. It's about the leaders gave it everything, and I think that's the main. And we'll probably get into this when you ask, is the problem Gattuso or something else? And that's basically my answer. The answer is. The answer is, I think it's more about the leaders in this team. The depth, it's there. We said it is. We don't have a bad squad, but I think we need a change of leadership within the dressing room in terms of players.
Okay, Mike Michaelis Scotiluzzo. Let's respond to a couple of fans here, guys. Now, he changed it, and he meant to say Insignia. So, Insignia and the leader don't belong in the same sentence. Now, if you saw my post-game show, I kind of called out Insignia a little bit, and I said maybe give the captaincy to Mertens because I do like him better as far as a leader goes. Not necessarily a player or a person. I love them both, but it's here you go, Miguel. I'll let you. I'll give your
Insignia and leader don't
redemption.
belong in the sentence.
Same sentence. So it's a bold, big statement. Now I'm not 100% in agreement with it, but I do feel like I think Mertens has he's a little bit better at just kind of being around the team and talking to them and maybe encouraging them and trying to bring people along.
I don't think Insignia is a bad captain. I think he's a new captain, and he's under a lot of pressure when it comes to playing for your home team. The team that you grew up supporting. It's no accident that he's missed 4 penalty kicks in his entire career, and 3 of them are against Juventus. There's no accident. The pressure of being a Neapolitan playing for Napoli against Juve is tremendous. So, the tears coming down his face in the Supercoppa is something that a Neapolitan feels. You know what I mean? A real life.
Right.
This team is in his blood and in his family and in his it's just like a lot of us, but it's even amplify that by how much, because he's still there playing for them. I think overall Insignia is a good leader. I don't think that he deserves to lose the captaincy. I think that he just needs a little bit more maturity when it comes to, when the chips are down, and sometimes he can. It's, again, inconsistency. Sometimes he can rile the troops up and get them going and get that last gasp against Torino and create at the end when everyone else isn't, and move his ass when no one else isn't. But I agree that there are others in the camp that could do a good job. Mertens being one, Koulibaly being the other. I really think of any, if it's not going to be Insignia, it'd be Koulibaly for me, because he's just like, he's a general in that field, man. He's like, this guy is.
Yeah.
He's also a different animal when he gets captain.
It's a different animal. Yeah.
Right.
Whenever he wears that captain's armband, he actually plays even better than usual.
We're talking Koulibaly, right?
Yeah, Koulibaly. Right. When he gets that armband, there's been a few times, and he's been even better in those games.
Right.
Well, there you have it, guys. Well, I guess it brings into the next topic now. So we have gone pretty hard but fair on these players, right? But here's the deal: it takes a captain to captain the ship, right? And when I mean captain, it's our manager, our boss, our dude, our guy, the guy pointing in which direction. Gennaro Gattuso is our coach, and he is catching it from the Napoli fans lately. So, and the big question is, in or out? In or out? Do we give him a chance? Do we let him go a little bit more? Do we say, hey, man, you got a couple more games to prove it? Do you say, Gattuso, be a man and resign, like somebody said the other day on somebody in Italy said that. I was like, be a man and resign. I was like, what do you mean be a man? This guy's working. Shut up. But, like, I think this is the big question, guys, on everybody's mind. And I'm glad you're here with me today, to make this analysis, because I was looking at some of the I went through the record today again from the beginning of the season. Let's not count last season. I know he won Coppa Italia, so we'll give him that credit. But let's be honest, the last season with the whole COVID mess, what he adopted with Ancelotti, and all those problems he had to deal with, it's tough to really talk about last season. So I guess if you can cite it if you want, but we really talk about this season and what he's did. And I was looking at this. I was looking at the results, and I was like, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. You know, maybe, and I see that there were some key moments, and we'll get into it. Key emotional moments for the Napolitan fan that Gattuso and the team did not kind of go for. Like they dropped the ball at these key emotional moments, and the fans went nuts. And I can understand why. Once I started looking at it again, I see why. But I know I don't think this is a black and white question, guys, right? I mean, Gattuso in or out. Like, Raff, I'm gonna let you start here.
Yeah,
on this one.
So I'm a big fan of Gattuso. I like his style. I like the way he presents himself. I like his passion. I love it. I think that it's a little early to ask for him to leave or to want him to leave. There are people out there that, you know, they have a gripe with him, and that's fine. They have, you know, backup to their gripe, and it's a legitimate, you know, issue. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But also, we have to understand that Gattuso has maintained a top six, basically, without three of his best players at one certain point. And, you know, yeah, we're not getting results in some of those games, but we are getting results in a lot of the other games.
Right.
You know.
And let me interject real quick, Rafa. That top six, by the way, it sounds like, I mean, we're 2-3 points away from third or fourth again.
And
that race is the tightest I've seen in about a decade.
Well, I had worked it out
to throw that out there.
If we had won the match, we'd be, you know, it would be, I think it was us winning and then Lazio winning. It would have been places 1 to 7 would have been, you know, separated by like 9 points, and we would have only been a few points away from first place. You know, if we win, you know, if we had won and then subsequently win our game against Juve, we're looking at a 3-point difference between us and Milan.
Right.
Yes, we lost. Yes, we lost when it counted. We lost when everybody could feel it coming. It's a chance for Napoli to make this leap, and they don't take it. But at the same time, it was never about the Scudetto for the season. So What we're doing is maintaining a top 4. The win would have been more important in our quest for top 4 than in our quest for the Scudetto. It didn't come. Now everybody is talking about how Gattuso needs to go. There's this rumor that Benitez is going to come back, probably created by a fan.
No.
You know.
No. Who made that rumor?
It was out there.
No, I've read it. Who? Why?
The club had to come out in support of Gattuso and say that's not going to happen. So, but the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. Gattuso had what he had at his disposal during a time where COVID is big and the games are coming at you like this, and there was nothing he could have done. You know, there was very little he could have done. Yes, he could have tinkered a little bit with a few things here and there, but without Koulibaly, without Mertens, without Osimhen, that's your spine. That's the spine of your team, literally.
We spoke about this.
Literally. He had nothing to replace them with, because when we talk about our depth is conducive to us being at full 100%. When we're at 100% and everyone's good, then our depth can come in and help out. You know what I mean? We didn't have that. We had our depth starting. You understand?
Right.
So, no, Gattuso in for now. I absolutely believe, and he's going to. Daniel Bowen just wrote that Corriere dello Sport started the Benitez stuff, and I absolutely believe that. Absolutely.
I believe it.
But there's nothing we could do now. We're not getting rid of him. We don't change him midway. We let the chips fall where they may with Osimhen out there. When Fabian gets back, Mertens has to finish nursing that injury. So Osimhen coming back is going to allow us to let that happen, especially when Fabian comes back. So I really believe that there's a lot of factors into this season that warrant Gattuso staying for the rest of the season, possibly even next season, or renewing for the 2 years and giving him one more season where COVID is not as much of an issue, where we're more susceptible to playing with our full squad.
Right.
Then if he were to sink the ship, as Michael Lisi had said, crash out of this competition, crash out of that competition, then finish 1 point out of the Champions League, then we figure it out. You know what I mean? I do believe if we don't make the Champions League, he'll go this season. I do believe that. But I also believe we'll make the Champions League. So for me, it's an in right now. Right now.
So Dom, the glass is half full for Dominic. I'm sorry, for Rafa. The glass is half full. He's optimistic. He stays. What are your in or out, or what do you think? Give him some time.
Definitely in, guys. And I agree with everything Rafa said. I'm going to build on that a little bit.
Okay.
10 points ahead of where we were last season. So you have to remember that's our base. We didn't finish 8th to then finish 1st this season, guys. It's impossible. No team does that. So we have to think about improving. So we have to look at, is this team on a positive trend? Yes, we're 10 points ahead of where we were last season. Things take time. Then, do you fire a coach where one game mid-season could have made the difference between being 3rd and 6th? No, you can't.
Right.
Because then you're basing your decision on emotionally 90 minutes, and that's you can't do that.
Right.
Dom,
it has to be
really quick. If you can throw Adam's comment back on there, I would really love to touch on that. Adam's comment.
With the Spezia?
Yes, please.
Okay.
If we can't lose games like Spezia in the second half, but we could easily be in the top 3. Okay, so I see what you're saying. We can't lose to Spezia in the second half the way we did, or we'd easily be in the top 3 right now. Mm-hmm. I think you criticize a manager more on a performance like yesterday against Verona than Spezia, because Spezia we bombarded.
That was the player's fault.
We had the shots. We had the this. We had the that. And the ball didn't go in. And whose fault is that? It's not the manager's fault. People were getting on Sarri at Chelsea for the same thing. When you bombard the goal but can't score, how is that a manager's fault? It's not. Yesterday pissed me off more than the Spezia loss did. Now, the Spezia loss got everybody going crazy. But look at what Spezia has done since. Verona is a strong team, and we should have brought it to Verona. Losing to Verona these days, it's not. Yeah, you want to win against teams like Verona who just spent 2 seasons in Serie A. They just came back from Serie B, but at the same time, Ivan Juric is doing his thing out there, and there's not much you can do about it. So for me, Gattuso has nothing to do with this right now. Nothing to do with it. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue, Dom.
No, on that point about Verona, did you know if we take just the top 8 teams in Italy right now and make a mini group out of them, Verona would be first. 14 points in 7 games. They only lost to Inter. They drew Milan, they drew Juventus, they beat Roma, they beat Napoli, they beat Atalanta, they beat Lazio. So to think that Verona is this stupid team, guys, there's no stupid teams in Italy. No. Spezia scored 7 goals against Roma in 2 games. In a week, they scored 7 goals.
In 5 days?
Udinese played so much better than us, lost undeservedly, tied against Inter. Guys, these teams are not easy teams to play against. We have the mentality that we're going to Udine, we're going to Verona, and we're just going to thrash teams. Guys, when has Napoli ever done that apart from those 3 years with Sarri, where those teams were effectively very bad? With Sarri, he also got lucky that some of the teams in those years were worse than they are now. So no one's ever going to get 91 points again with Napoli, ever. In my lifetime, I don't think that's going to happen.
Let's hope so.
So it's just too hard. It's just too hard, guys.
Right.
But so that's the topic of Verona. So I would have signed for a draw, to be honest. Everybody wants to win. If you had come to me 2 hours before the game, would you draw this game? I would say yes. Because I know how good Juric is. I know how good Verona is, guys. It's we need to stop thinking of teams as being weak just because they're not Inter, Juve, Milan. Mm-hmm. So that's that.
Does Verona win because they're a better team than Napoli, or maybe the better team that day?
Guys, it's a tough place to play. Away from home at Verona, it's tough.
But I mean,
when we were a worse team, guys, when we were not winning, when we were not top 2 teams, and people came to San Paolo, Did other teams criticize them for losing to Napoli? No, people knew that San Paolo, even if Napoli was having a bad season, was a tough place to go to.
Right.
Verona is one of those places, guys, especially for Napoli. There's a huge rivalry between Napoli and Verona. It's tough for Napoli to go there and get a win. And on top of what Rafa was saying about, we did score. I mean, we did create the chances. We just didn't score. Guys, it's stats. If you look at XG, so expected goals, Napoli, it's this stat that they do where they say, okay, they look at a game, they say, how many goals should a team have scored? And I looked back, and Napoli, if you look at what they should have scored, they should be on 44 points right now. That's how you judge objectively a coach.
Okay.
You look at how much the team created, how much they conceded. And based off stats, we should be at 44 points. You know what games we should have lost according to it? Udinese and Verona. Milan and Inter, Milan and Lazio, we should have tied, and everything else we should have won according to stats. So we should be on 44 points, guys. That's Gattuso's style. That's Gattuso's tactics. That's what he does. If Insignia against Torino misses from 6 yards out, how is that Gattuso's fault? 30 chances against Spezia. I've never seen something like that. It can't be Gattuso's fault.
No.
You can't judge him based off the Spezia game, guys. For me, it's not FIFA, guys. Like, Gattuso's not the guy with the joystick. You know what I mean?
Right.
He sets out the team to open up the defenses of the other teams, and he's doing that brilliantly.
Right.
And then if Insignia doesn't score, that complicates the game for you. And other teams are a bit more cynical than us at the moment. So that's the mentality aspect as well.
True. And I think, Christopher Estrada, he was asking a few questions. I wanted to get him up here. Would you say these easy teams are better now than before? If so, how are they becoming so good? Maybe.
The league has changed.
My short answer is yes. I think it's much better this year.
Yes, the league has changed in the last 3 seasons. And I hate to admit it, but when Ronaldo came over, like, the attention drew to Italy, and but the problem is that nobody's going to realize this, but we might. Is that before Ronaldo came in, the league was getting better and better slowly. Like the quality of the games, top to bottom, were getting so much better. But now that there's more attention to the league, a lot of more players want to come to the league. And I feel like these teams are just getting so much better because of the attention that it's getting.
Right.
Italy's the place to be. According to what's that, the IIFHS, what's the international football statistics, right? Named 2020 named Serie A the league of the year over the Premier League and La Liga. That's not an accident.
You've got Inter and Milan returning compared to 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
You've got Lazio, who are a much better team compared to 3 years ago.
Forget about Sassuolo.
Atalanta, Sassuolo. You've got teams that were, and then you've got obviously teams that have regressed and teams that stay small. That's for sure. But even the small teams in Italy, guys, it's harder to play against Crotone than it is against Fulham.
Yeah.
You can't compare a small Italian team against a small team from other countries because the difference is that the gap between the richest and the least richest in Italy is smaller than in other places. So the value of the teams are a lot more compressed than they are in the other leagues. So it's really hard in Italy to play against these small teams.
Right. I totally agree. I mean, we've seen, when Napoli, when Sarri was managing Napoli and we got those 91 points and they said, well, how do we win? And, Juve the season prior got 91 points, win the league. And then they get 95 points. And I try to respond to people. I'm like, listen, Napoli can't do it all by themselves. You need teams to be competitive, and you need teams to beat teams like Milan. Because like when Milan lost to, what was it the other day? Guys, can you refresh my memory?
Atalanta.
I'm terrible. Atalanta. No, there was even one before that. I feel
the only other loss they lost.
All right. So when these teams now are losing to these other teams, and then you get a race that's so tight, this is the point I'm trying to make. Like, Serie A in itself needs to be competitive, and I think this year we're starting to see that a little bit more, where
Mm-hmm.
Spezia can win a game, or Verona could upset Napoli, or Atalanta could upset Milan.
And they're playing good football.
And they're playing
They're
good
playing good
football.
football, guys. They're playing
Like,
good.
Verona
Spezia
played
7
great.
goals against Roma.
Right, exactly. And even when they played us, I gave Spezia credit. They didn't park the bus. They played the game. They played to win. They moved forward. So did Verona. They played great. I mean, all right, a little bit Napoli played bad, maybe one can say, but it's true. If we are to be champions, we need the rest of this league to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Period. We cannot. We were the anti-Juve for so long. We've said it so much. But we need the other teams. And, since Calciopoli financially, Serie A has a lot of struggles, and it took some time to get back there. And I think we're starting to see them get a little bit more back there now. Whereas, as far as my opinion on Gattuso, guys, if you don't mind here, I'm going to chime in. I was looking at the record over the year, and I'm just like, damn, it's not that bad. But I think I would like for him to make sure that he's managing the energy of this team a little bit more correctly. Rafa, you probably hate me every time I say this, because I say it all the time, but I'm just like, come on. Like, we saw the same 11 3 games in a row, man. I would have liked to see one or two pieces maybe start. Maybe Insignia gets a break one day. Maybe somebody else comes
play
in.
a bit more.
Elmas, who?
Elmas.
He's
play a bit
big,
more.
Elmas.
Is the biggest Elmas fan.
I'm a fanboy of Elmas. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, why is he not playing?
Why is he not playing on the left? Like, he can certainly come in and back up Insignia well. Not even like maybe. No, I think he has close to as much quality as Insignia does, as far as his ball handling skills, his ability his vision, his and he likes to pass the ball.
The thing is with Insignia is that whatever you do with him, you're gonna make a mistake. When you bench him and he's playing good, then people say, "Oh, why did you bench him?" When he's playing bad and you bench him, people are like, "Oh, why did you bench him? Now you're gonna kill his confidence." So with Insignia, you can never get it right. You're always gonna have fans against you, no matter what decision you take with Insignia. So Elmas is the most unlucky player that he's that guy's backup.
Right. That's true. It's true, man. And I think Insignia being Napolitan, it's just like he catches the brunt of it. But I want to see. All right. So I guess that, for me, my final analysis on him is that I like Gattuso more or less. Now, I think he needs to shut up every now and then on the field, just kind of let the players play. Sometimes he's screaming too much, but whatever. I'm not gonna stop his style. I don't want to step on his swag here or anything like that. But to me, I want to see a little bit more smarts as far as his tactics goes, as far as who he's lining up, how to manage that energy, how to manage those emotions. I need a little bit more. And maybe that's like level 2 or level 3 for coaches. I'm not sure. I know he's still kind of a young green coach, right? I mean, he hasn't been coaching that many years.
You need someone next to him in the club.
Right, like a consigliere.
You need a Fusalupi is what you need. You need somebody that Mazzarri had.
Not only that, so that's for sure. You definitely need a vice who's in the game for quite a long time, trusted. Hopefully not his son. I don't know if he has a son, but let's not repeat the Ancelotti thing. You need someone who's a good good cop, bad cop with him, but you also need someone within the club that protects him when things are going a bit south. You've got Nedved for Juve that intervenes. You've got Maldini for Milan. You've got Zanetti for Inter. They all have a very important role in the club, managing the relationship between the players, the manager, the club, the fans, all that. And we're missing that at Napoli. Giuntoli, when he never defends Gattuso. He never. It's not enough. It's not enough, and Gattuso has to do everything himself.
Right. No, it's true. He's definitely could use a little hand. Rafa, what do you think? I mean, would you go up? Would you be willing to go up there next to him, Rafa?
Me?
Yeah. I think a little bit of Rafa Respo right next to maybe even you too, Dom. Maybe all three of us. Let's just go.
I need a board. I need a whole board.
I can't handle
board.
I'll cry like Insignia when my substitution gets injured. I don't know if I can handle it. But I want to bring something up that that Dom mentioned. You talked about Verona and how they're beating up on top teams, right? What is it, the top six,
Top eight.
top eight? Napoli in 2007-08. Okay, we finished in 8th place. Right, we beat every single team in the top 7 above us at home. Beat every one of them. It was all wins. Inter, Milan, Juve, Sampdoria, Udinese. Who else am I leaving out?
Genoa, maybe.
Roma.
Genoa
Genoa didn't top 8. It was Udinese, Sampdoria, Inter, Milan, Juve, Roma.
Okay.
6, and one other team I'm missing. Beat them, all of them. Fiorentina. Beat them all at home.
Right.
That was our first season back to Serie A. We finished in 8th place. We finished with 50 points, 14 wins, 8 draws, 16 losses. Verona is the Napoli of 27. The Verona is this season's version of Napoli 07-08. There's a team that you are not going to have a good time going to Verona. You know, you're just not going to have a good time going there. And it's been like this for a while. I just wanted to point that out because, you know, you had mentioned that Verona is a very, very good team, which they are. And I really feel like our issue is there's something. It's something that you like every. The play is inconsistent, but the issues are also inconsistent because one week it could be one thing, another week it could be another. You know, like 30 chances on Spezia, we can't score a goal. You know, we score 6 against Fiorentina, and then the next game we have a crappy game and we lose to Verona. It's all going to be like this. And now we have no Papu Gomez because I guess Quinton just.
Was this rumor, Quinton, or is this official?
I believe it's real. He's going to Sevilla.
Right?
And
Sevilla.
So, you know what needs to happen quick, and it needs to get fixed.
Do you think not renewing Gattuso had an effect on the team when the rumors came out? Do you think not renewing Gattuso when they were talking about it 2 months ago had an effect? You know how the rumors came out and then nothing actually happened. Do you think the players are thinking, "Oh, what's going on here? Why is he not renewing?" and their performance dropped?
Could be. It could very well be because you know that they play for him because you've seen it. They play for him. They play for him hard. So it could be something like that. And, you know, could it be an accident that this rumor that Benitez is coming back was leaked and then shot down by the club right away? The dreaded vote of confidence by the board, right? I mean,
who came? All right, I got to jump in here, guys, and I'm triggered. First off, who the hell wants Benitez back? That guy gives me post-traumatic stress. I don't care what he did in Europa. He plays the same system as Gattuso, all right? And it's not like we did that much better.
I'm saying because he plays the same system, if we have to get rid of Gattuso, he'd be my pick.
He'd be the great chance. Yeah, but
it would just be a continuation of Gattuso's work, but with a new sort of energy to the team, a little poke at the team.
Also, experience, you know.
Because if we go, let's hypothetically say we go to someone like Allegri, he's gonna start, changing formation, 3-5-2. It's gonna create a mess mid-season. So if we do have to change, let's not, go with someone that's completely different from Gattuso.
Right.
Okay. I would think. But then you're thinking, what's the point, right?
Right. That's what I'm trying to do. Might as well just keep him. I'm not sure what, because I know Benitez, he was our highest paid coach at one point, wasn't he? Or was that Ancelotti? Maybe I'm wrong. No, it was good. Wasn't he making like $4 million? I think Raff Benitez, when he was here, he was our highest paid coach, at least up until that point. I'm not sure. Maybe we offered the same amount for Carlo. I don't know, but it was underwhelming. He had problems with Higuain. It seemed as if like those two weren't getting along because once Sadi came, then we saw this rejuvenation in Higuain. But I don't think Benitez was the answer at all. I'm pretty sure that's a rumor. It must be. You know why? I saw an article today. Oh, Sadi, Mazzarri, and Benitez are all available. And it's like, goddamn, what is it in Napoli? We're just going back to our exes. Like, what's wrong with us? Like,
well, I'm gonna
either
call
it's Cavani or is this like?
Hey, listen. Would you not like to have a Cavani on your team right now?
I wanted Cavani this year. I've said it. Everybody was like, nah. Everybody was like, nah. I know.
I think he'd be a pretty decent fit right about
$10
now.
million. $10 million.
I understand 10 million. I understand 10 million.
That's
yes,
it.
It's very high for a 33-year-old. Yes, I get it. But if we're gonna break the bank, like some fans out there are clamoring for that, that piece, that player, that high rent, that high profile player that's been there, that's done this, that's done that. And, the talks were for Ibra, and he went to Milan. Look what he's doing there. What about, all the other veterans that came back to Serie A, like Vidal? What about, now Mandzukic with Milan, right? Tell me you wouldn't have embraced a Cavani return. No, if you had known Mertens, Osimhen, Koulibaly, Fabian, all these guys are going to be out. Insignia with a thing. He was out for a little bit too. Tell me you wouldn't take him right now, because if there's one X that I'm clamoring for, it's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Cavani,
even next year or the year after to put on for depth, I don't care. Get him in for cheaper. But obviously, it's got to be for cheaper. But
but all of Italy was trying to haggle with this guy, Juve, all the things. Everybody's like, all right, not going. Everybody was trying to haggle with Cavani. Now, here's the deal. What if I pose it like this? What if his salary wasn't $10 million? Let's say his salary was $5 million, okay? But you had to pay $5 to $10 million to buy him. Then you know what I'm trying to say? Like, we're talking about $10 million flat, straight up. It's all for the player. That's it.
But for me, that would have been
in today's market.
Why it would have been a reason why he was free in the summer. So
that's what I'm saying.
You're not paying to sign him. You just got to pay him. But everyone wants that expensive player. They all want to buy out. We got to get Messi. We got to get this guy. We got to get that guy. Why are we always getting these youngsters? Why can't we get somebody who's in it? But 33 ain't that old anymore.
No, look at what Quagliarella did at 33. Wasn't he like
it's in every single sport right now. You got Tom Brady, who just qualified for his 10th Super Bowl. He's 43. You got Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who hasn't slowed down. He's almost 40. You got Cristiano Ronaldo, who's on the other side of 35 almost. You got these guys, and I know. Okay, you can't compare Cavani to these players. Maybe you can't, but you ain't going to tell me that Cavani wouldn't be tearing up Serie A right about now with Osimhen being out. You can't tell me
in the Premier League.
He's doing it.
They're not stupid.
Listen, I have so many clients that are Manchester United fans. It's crazy. And when I was like, oh my God, Cavani and Man U, this is going to be awesome for them. And I don't like Man U, but Cavani being there, I have to pay attention to him like I did to PSG. He's still my favorite player. That's not a Napoli player of all time. Not of all time, but of current, Maradona. Cavani. Maradona, and it's Cavani. Boom. Okay. Now, you can't tell me he wouldn't be here killing this goal. I'm telling you.
He would be.
And everybody's out there. Oh, he's too expensive. He's too expensive. But you all want to go buy this €100 million player, right?
Right.
He's too expensive for the bench,
right?
Hit me with he's too expensive when you want all these big signings with fields of grandeur. You can't do that. Yeah. We should have had Cavani on this team.
100%.
Even with Osimhen.
Would you get him instead of Osimhen? Because you can't buy both and keep one of them on the bench.
I wouldn't get him instead of Osimhen. But is Cavani regularly starting at Man United? That's the question. Is Cavani starting regularly at Man United?
No.
Now, I don't think he is. But with this congested fixture lists, I guarantee you Cavani would get half the starts. Guaranteed.
Thing is, we started off the season thinking we had Osimhen, Mertens. Where are you going to put Cavani in that? So, it's easy to say it now, but
I understand.
It's easy now. Now, yes, we would say, bring in Cavani, bring in Quagliarella, bring in anyone, right? Luca Toni if you have to. But at the end of the day, we started off the season with Osimhen, Mertens.
Bring what I mean? Back.
What's Cavaglio doing?
It's gonna be like a family reunion at Napoli, but Listen, for the amount of money we spent on Ozzy and him, to say that Cavani was expensive to me is like, because I mean, how much did Papu Gomez go for? Does anybody know if
I
anybody?
think 8
8
million.
mil? Plus
Thing is,
what's his salary?
Atalanta wouldn't sell him to Napoli.
No, I understand that, but they're more or less around the same age, and we all wanted him. Wouldn't he have cost around $10 million if we would have got Papu Gomez between his salary and the transfer fee?
Yeah, the transfer
Maybe.
fee.
I
The
don't know.
transfer fee. Yeah.
All right, then. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. And we were gun-ho of well, not us, but, most fans were gun-ho about buying Papu Gomez. And he would have cost almost the same amount, more or less, this year as Cavani would have to use him this half of the season. So,
Yeah, the thing is, De Laurentiis wants to sell players later on. You can't sell a 33-year-old. You can't buy a 33-year-old and sell him on at 36. And that's not part of De Laurentiis' plan, because he thinks that with this squad, he can get top 4. That's all he wants for his, financial books, because there's no difference between first and fourth. No difference. You get Champions League football regardless. That's the main thing for De Laurentiis, for him financially. So for him to spend 20 million, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense if it's a difference between Champions League and not. But he thought that this squad, how it was enough for Champions League football. So why would he go and spend an extra 10, 20 million on a player that's not going to add anything to him in terms of money?
Right. That is definitely another topic. But I think we're gonna have to pay ADL a visit soon. I think maybe in a couple of weeks.
That's threatening.
You know what? After the market is over, we're gonna have a nice little episode. Right? We're gonna pay him a visit and see what's going on with the money situation. With Valerio De Laurentiis, because you have a point, Dom. You do have a point. Raff, you look like you're drooling to say something. I'm gonna let you go.
No,
go, Rafa, go.
I'm catching up on some of these comments. And
Yeah.
Giuseppe had said, not with this formation. He's too old to drop back. Cavani was more successful with a second striker. He's dropping back at Man U, man. He's playing great at Manchester United. Everybody who's a Cavani fan needs to really stop and watch and see what he's doing at Man United. It's insane. Because all my Man United friends were very upset at the age. Oh, the wages are too high. The age, blah, 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 blah. Now everybody coming in to get a haircut is, I can't believe it. I should have listened to you. What was I thinking? I told you guys. Yeah. Man United, man. Cavani's doing his thing, and he's not getting regular starts. He's not.
All of Italy missed out. I
think ADL would have caught a lot of crap if he had paid $10 million to Cavani and not start him every day. That's probably the truth of the matter.
Gattuso would have got it.
No. Well, ADL would have caught the crap for Gattuso not starting him every game.
Oh,
like you have to understand that, like what Dom said is absolutely right. You can't get an Osimhen and then a Cavani and play with one striker. You just can't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I got a question for you here, Dom. We'll take this one more and then we'll wrap up, boys. We're getting to the hour mark. Yes. Quentin, by the way, is he is the one of the co-admins of my group, Dom. He's very special to us. He does all our sounds as well. So you can call him an employee, if you will. So we're going to give him a little love. I know we had a lot of questions that we're trying to get to. But Raff, this question goes to you guys. Suggestions on a transfer.
Can I say 3 names?
You can say as many names as you like.
The same 3 names. Go ahead.
Cavani. No, kidding.
No, Cavani.
Zaccagni, Locatelli, Emerson. 3 players, we complete our team.
I think Cavani. Cavani. You got me thinking of Cavani.
We got you effed up right now.
We got you effed up. My man Edinson El Matador. No, right. Zaccagni number 1.
Yeah.
Emerson number 2. DiMarco also number 3. I love Locatelli. I don't know if Sassuolo is going to sell to us, but I would absolutely love having Locatelli on the squad. Realistically, I believe it will be Emerson this market, and then Zaccagni for next season.
This one, you think they're going to get Emerson? Or the summer?
I would like for him to come in this one. I mean, we did say that we would consider, one or two purchases if we got rid of Milik and if we got rid of Llorente,
Okay.
and if we were able to sell, Malqui or what have you. So hopefully we can get these guys out of here and get someone in to bring them in for help for this season. I think we need one more piece for this season, possibly one more.
One more. You guys then. So I'll do 3 as well, since they're, Zaccagni, I guess that's on everybody's hit list, especially after the game that I saw he had against us. And Rafa, you spoke about him getting better and better. Man, we saw an excellent too. So Zaccagni, without a doubt, because I feel like we could use him in the midfield. We may lose a piece or so, don't know. But because we're struggling a little bit, certainly him. I'm one of the defensemen, whether it be Emerson or maybe even DeMarco, to back up, because I believe DeMarco plays on Di Lorenzo's side, right? If I'm not mistaken. But either way, one more defenseman, because I think we're going to – Malqui, I feel like, is done. Gulam, not sure what's going on there. And Hisav, Rui are like, So certainly another defenseman. And, well, Cavani's gone, right? We can't use Cavani, guys. I would like somebody like to come in for Llorente if Llorente leaves. Maybe just like an older wisdom striker. Just to give – it's what I wanted Cavani for, but whatever, since that's not going to happen. Somebody with a little bit of wisdom, slightly older, but who still has some energy in him and some game left in him to help our youth, because we do have a couple young guys up there between Lozano and Ozzy and him to kind of help them.
Let's get Dzeko. He's breaking up with Roma.
Is he? Get him in there. Shit, why not? But yeah, somebody like that, I think, up front. And I'd be happy. So 1, 2, 3, back, middle, front, for me would be the ideal situation for me. But I think that's a wrap, guys.
All right.
Anything else to add?
No, but I would like for Dom to plug himself. Dom, why don't you give yourself
Dom, talk to us where we can find you, just in case you got any new fans out here.
Guys, it was so fun today. Thank you for having me. You guys can find me at Napoli Talk on YouTube, Napoli Talk on Twitter, official Napoli Talk on Instagram for memes and stuff like that, if you're into more of that stuff. So yeah, guys, it's been fun. Thank you for having me. And hopefully we win the next one, guys.
Hopefully we win the next one, guys. Let's see. We got the game coming up for this Sunday against. No. We got the Coppa Italia, right? Spezia Wednesday.
Thursday.
And then we have Parma.
That's Thursday. Yep, that'll be Thursday.
Okay. And then we have Parma, I believe, right after that. We'll certainly be here with the post-game show. I know Dom does a post-game show as well, so plenty of content for you guys to enjoy. Check them both out. Show some love. We do our thing here. We work hard to bring something special to the fans, guys. But Dom, I want to thank you again for coming on to the show from us. I know it's a little bit late out there in the UK. You're a trooper. You're a true trooper, sir. And I'll probably let you get to bed and have a nice little sleep there. Rafa,
thank you, guys.
Good to see you guys.
Always.
Forza Napoli sempre. We'll see you next time, guys.
Forza Napoli sempre.